Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, and I am your host. And I am so glad that you all have joined me tonight for a night of information, revelation, and change. Yes, guys, tonight is going to be another glorious night. It's going to be great. Tonight, you're just going to see me. It's just me tonight. Um, I'm going to have another guest that will be on next week. She's going to be on, and you don't want to miss that interview. It is going to be powerful. And I will be putting out more information about that interview later on this week. Well, this upcoming week, I will put out that information. But it's going to be an awesome, awesome show, and I want you to take part in it. I want you to let your friends know that that show is coming on because it's going to be great, and you're going to get so much good information. Good evening, Linda. How are you doing? It's going to be such a great show on next week, but this week is going to be a great show too. Tonight, I want to continue my conversation that I had with you all on last week when I talked to Joy King. We were talking about transition, and we talked about her transitioning from her business and going into from her book to a business to another business that she's doing, and all the different things, even the transitions in her life. And a lot of times when transitions come, we pull back, we hide, we don't want to walk through it, because a lot of times when we look at transition, we think transition is such a horrible thing, that this great crazy thing has happened and now it has altered my life. And not all the time is that true. Sometimes the transition that comes is not a life altering transition. It's just something that we have to do. We have to switch where we are to move on to another area, or switch where we are to go do something different. And sometimes transition comes in so many different ways, and we're wondering, okay, what do we do in the midst of this? And what I want to tell you, you need to do is to be victorious, even in the midst of a transition. It's all a matter of how we look at it. It all matters how we see it. If we see it as a good thing, it will be a good thing. If we perceive it to be the most horrible thing and the worst thing that can happen to us, then it will be. I am a firm believer that you have what you say. You have what you say. You have what you pray. And you have to be confident that whatever situation I'm in, I'm going to come out of it. Whatever transition I am in, I am going to be okay. I'm going to come out on the other side of it. Like I have told my children and other people that I've talked to, is that I have lived long enough to know that things happen, and they do come to pass in our life. They happen, things happen all the time. And this one thing that has happened is not the end. It is not the end. If you keep pressing and you keep moving and you keep doing, you're going to come out on the other side of it. So you want to make sure that you come out on the other side. And the way you do that is that you keep pushing and you keep moving forward. No matter what the transition is, you keep moving forward. Some things are anticipated. We know that it's coming. We know that these things are going to happen. Other things, we don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes that not knowing and not having control of the situation, that's what gets us, because we want control. We want to be able to say, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I got my life mapped out. I got things mapped out the way that it's going to be. And I'm here to tell you, it don't always happen that way. Sometimes your transition comes in the midst, you like, this is the wrong time for a transition, for some change to happen. This is not the time that I wanted this to happen. But what you have to do is you have to remain soft, you have to remain pliable, and allow yourself to be molded even in the midst of what's going on around you. 4 things that change will bring, and I wrote those things down so I wouldn't forget them, that transition will bring is change, loss, endings, and beginnings. In a transition, you're going to have change. It's going to change you some kind of way. You don't know which way it's going to change. You have it change for you for the better if you choose to, but you got to know that the change is there. It's going to happen. So it's going to cause a change. So be ready for the change. Prepare yourself ahead of time. I need to just roll with what comes. I need to declare and I need to speak some things into the atmosphere, because you know what? We can have what we say. So we have to be careful about the things that we allow to roll off our tongue, the things we allow to be spoken, because we're going to have exactly what we say, even in the midst of that change. So, even in the midst of your change, be careful about what you're speaking, because you don't want to keep speaking negative, because all that negative stuff comes back to you. So, you want to make sure that when you're speaking in the midst of a transition, that you remain positive, that if you can't say something positive and something according to the word of the Lord, then you know what? Just keep your mouth closed. Don't say anything until you're able to speak that positive thing in the midst of your transition. The next thing is loss. We're going to experience loss in the midst of a transition, whether it is the loss of a job, maybe the loss of a friendship or a relationship, maybe even the loss of a loved one. And tonight, I am talking about this transition and the loss of a loved one, because I am talking about my dad. My dad passed away like 14 years ago, and it's hard to believe that it's been 14 years. But today would have been his 70th birthday. And I am like, oh my goodness, the things that I would love to share with him. I would love for him to be sitting and watching this show right now. He would be one of the biggest cheerleaders for me right now on this show, and he would have bragging rights. He would be out talking to everybody about his daughter being on this show. He is an awesome person. He was an awesome person. He lives forever in my heart and in my memories. And but I had to transition with that loss. That loss came, and for me, it wasn't unexpected. I knew it was coming because he was ill, he was sick, and I knew that that transition was coming. But I was like, when it happened, I thought that I would be prepared and I thought that I would be ready. And I was somewhat prepared, but to actually hear that he had passed and I didn't have the opportunity to go back and talk to him, or I wouldn't have the opportunity to swing in and see him sometimes, that like hit me. And I was like, man, I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was coming today, but I knew it was coming, and I had to transition myself. I couldn't stay in the in a like a somber mode or whatever, or mood. I had to sit with myself for a minute. And did the tears come? Yes, they did. Did I miss him? Yes, I did. But I began to remember all the good things concerning him, all the things that brought me joy. And I talked to my sisters, and I was asking them, what are some of the things that you remember about dad? Because that transition, let me give you some backstory. Me and my sisters, we were there with my dad. Mainly, it was like one of my sisters at the time, and we just had fun. When my dad was around, we had fun, and he taught us so many different things. One of my sisters remembers how he taught us how to ride a bike, and I had forgot about the fact that we didn't have training wheels. He was not gonna let you have the training wheels on your bike. He said you could ride this bike without these training wheels. And I was like, how in the world? But when she brought that back to me, I remember that day so clear. I remember riding my bike, and I remember my dad holding my seat, and he was running alongside of me, and he was holding the seat, and I was like riding my bike, and he let go. And I didn't even realize that he had let go and that I was riding by myself until I heard him yelling in the background, "You got it. You got it." And I was like, "Oh no, he's not holding me." And I turned the bike real fast, because and then it stopped because I like ran into this little bank. But I was like, I was riding by myself with my dad. He taught us how to ride those bikes without training wheels. He was like, you don't need them things. You don't need no training wheels. You just need to ride. And that day we rode, and it was awesome. And to think about that now, I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my goodness. And the fact that our dad, he would play with us. He would actually sit down, come on your level and play with you. He, at the time, he didn't have sons that were there. He had his daughters, and it was two of us at the time. And he would sit down with us. He would play house where we would sit down and we would have tea. He would pretend like he was drinking the tea and all of that. He would go outside with us and jump rope with us. And I remember we were playing football because my dad was an avid football fan. He loved the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys all the way, whether they won, whether they lost, whether it was good, whether it was bad, he wasn't leaving his Dallas Cowboys. And we would play, and he was teaching us how to play football, but he was teaching us inside the house. That was like, oh my goodness. And we broke my mom's couch. I still remember that to this day. It was like, oh my goodness, we broke the chair, and then we was trying to fix it before she got home so she wouldn't notice that we broke the leg on the chair, and he trying to fix it up. It was hilarious. I still remember that. And it was so much fun being around him. But you know what? That was when he passed away, that was a loss. Cause I was so happy though that he got to meet my children, his grandchildren. I was so excited that he got to see them and he got to spend time with them because he didn't get to see the great grands, but he got to see the grands. And he was able to talk with them. He was able to spend time with them. He was able to have fun with them. And I wanted them to meet my dad. I wanted them to be around him. I wanted them to know who their granddad was. And it was so exciting. Hey, Josie, thank you for joining in. And I was just so excited. And as Josie came up on the screen, she was talking about her story. And yeah, don't tell your mama. That's what he was saying. Don't tell your mama. Oh goodness, like she wasn't gonna know that her couch was broke. That was just so much. But you know, we played so much, and we played so many games. We played jump rope, we played hopscotch. I mean, you name it, we were out there and we were playing, and it was just so much fun. And my sister Josie, she said she remembered him telling a story about just sweet potatoes, where he had gotten him some sweet potatoes when he was younger. He stole them, he got them, he wasn't supposed to have them. They were in the oven cooking. He wanted one, so he grabbed him two. And then he heard his dad coming, so he stuck them in his pockets because he was like, I'm gonna hide these until I can get outside. But he didn't make it outside to hide them. He didn't make them outside. They were in his pockets and they were burning his legs. But his dad was standing there talking to him. And I think, I think that his dad knew he had him. So he was like, I'm not going to spank you. I'm just going to let you keep them hot potatoes. New meaning for a hot potato in your pockets. So after that, he was like, I don't like sweet potatoes. I don't want no sweet potatoes. He never ate another sweet potato, y'all. Never ate another one because of that particular moment. But he did so many things that I was like, oh my goodness, to have him here today would be awesome. And he laughed. When he laughed, you knew it was Joe Cook that was laughing. You knew it because of his distinct laugh. He would laugh and it was like infectious. Everybody else would start laughing, not necessarily laughing about what he said or what he did, but laughing because he's laughing, because his laugh was just like that. And sometimes one of my sons, he starts laughing and I'll start laughing because sometimes he reminds me of my dad when he starts to laugh. But it is just so awesome. I would love for him to be alive today, just to be a part of everything that's going on, for him to see his great grandchildren, for him to see all of his children grown and see them moving forward and going forward. He would be so proud. And I am so grateful and so honored that God gave me Joe P. Cook for my dad. I mean, everything wasn't like great and wonderful every single day. But you know something? Every memory that I have of my dad, he made me laugh. He put a smile on my face. He looked at us and saw us as being kids, but he came down to your level and he sat right there with you. And he may not have been there every single day of our lives, but the times that we were able to spend with him were precious. They were. I loved it. And I honor him for being my dad. I thank him for being my dad. And I tell you what, guys, I don't have any regrets. Not one regret. I don't. Because I was able to sit down, talk to my dad. I was able to spend time with my dad. And the last day that I saw my dad, I knew that that was the last day I was going to see him. I just knew in my heart, this is it. So take all this in, spend as much time as you can today, because you're not going to have that opportunity again. I knew it in my heart. I didn't speak it out of my mouth. I didn't say it to anybody, but I knew it in my heart. And I was like, I'm going to take all this in. And I tell you what, till this day, I still remember that day. I still remember spending time with him. I still remember how he looked, where he stood, everything. I still remember everything about that particular day. Why? Because I knew then, take it all in, girl. Take it all in, because you're not going to get this opportunity again. But we experience loss. We experience that loss. And you know something, loss can be a horrible thing, or you can sit back and say, you know what? I'm going to look at the positive side. I'm going to look at the side and rejoice and have fun and really walk in that joy. I'm not going to let it put me in a depressive mode where I'm depressed and walk around depressed because my dad is not here. I could go that whole opposite direction and just put on sad music. But today is his birthday, you know. I could put on sad music and say, "Oh, I miss my dad. I wish he was here," and get the crying and all that. No. Today I wanted to celebrate him. I wanted him to know, hey, daddy, you're a good dad. And before he left here, he knew that his children loved him. He knew that we cared about him. He knew that the people around him loved him. And the ones that meant so much to him cared about him and loved him. And that's what I want everybody to see, that a loss doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be horrible. Yes, we go through that crying stage. Yes, we go through that stage where we miss him. And some days, even now at being 51, I miss my daddy. Sometimes I want to be able to swing by and go talk to him, or pick up a phone or something and call him, and I can't. But I don't allow that to tear me down. I don't allow that to take me into a state of being in depression. I was like, nope, I'm not going to go there, because I'm not going to put him in that light. I'm not going to put him in that light and have that laugh disappear, or have those memories disappear. All those good memories that we had. And then another memory, yes. My sister told me about that one, and I was like, yeah, that was a day, because my dad had a miscommunication with the tooth fairy that day. And he was supposed to let that tooth fairy know that I had put my tooth under that pillow, and I was supposed to get my money the next morning. And me and my sister, we searched that whole entire room, because we were just looking, and we were like, Daddy, tooth fairy didn't show up. Tooth fairy didn't come. And he was like, y'all ain't looking. So he comes in there and he said he's going to help us look for my money that was supposed to be under my pillow. And we go in, and he moves around and moves around and moves around. Then he picks up my bear. I had a red and white teddy bear. I still remember that teddy bear. But he picks up that bear and he was like, here it is right here. Y'all just wasn't looking. And I was like, I picked up the bear. It wasn't no money under there. You put the money under. He was like, take this money and go to the store. It was so funny. He had a he slept on the tooth fairy, y'all. He slept on. He didn't he didn't he had that miscommunication with that tooth fairy. So but I still got my money and I still was able to go to the store. So I went on to the store and kept my money, and it was like however it got there, thank you Jesus, I'm glad. And I went on to the store and got some stuff. It's just little things like that. It's just so awesome. And my dad loved 18 wheelers. He drove trucks. He loved 18 wheelers, and he would drive, and I mean, you crank the truck up and he just grinning because he was so excited about that truck. And he loved the travel of it. He loved driving those trucks. And I'm pretty sure if he was still alive today, one of his daughters probably would be in that truck driving that truck. Not saying that we'd be driving long distances, but he would have taught somebody how to drive that truck, because or even one of his sons may have drove the truck. Who knows? But he loved those trucks, and he would teach us. He would sit us in his lab and tell us. We were driving, and we just be thinking we doing something. Feet can't even reach down to the pedal, but we thought we was doing something because we thought we was driving. And it's just those little things, those small things, those things that you think about. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, those were the days. And I loved it. But we experienced some loss. And just because we experience that loss doesn't mean life is over. Life continues to go on. And we learn to live without him being present here in our lives and being alive today. We learn to live. We learn to keep moving. We learn to keep going. And even though he may not be here physically, he is here in our hearts. He is here in our memories. He is here whenever we sit and we begin to think about him and talk about him with each other and begin to share the stories. It seems like it was just yesterday that all this stuff happened. And I tell you what, it is just awesome to me. I'm like, wow, I would just love to be able to shower him with gifts today. So this is my gift to my dad today. It's like I'm appreciative of who he was and what he was to us. Sometimes we look at things and we say, you know what, my parents should have did this, or my parents should have did that, or my daddy should have did this, or my mama should have did that. If you would step back and look at it and see your parents as being human beings, because they are human. Do they make mistakes? Yes, we all do. But you don't need to look at them as a mistake, because they were not a mistake. They were your parents for a reason. So you need to applaud them. You need to love on them. You need to realize that they are human beings too. They hurt too. They go through things too. They may not tell you what's happening in their lives. They may not even be able to articulate what is going on inside of their hearts and what's going on inside of their minds. But they're people and they go through things. And that we have to look at and say, you know what? It ain't worth holding a grudge. It's not worth it to hold a grudge against your parent. It's not worth it to hold a grudge against a sibling or some other relative. You have to start letting that stuff go. We are all humans. We all have things that are going on in our lives. Some of our lives were a little bit better than other people's lives. And some of us had some things going on with us as we grew up, and we carry that on into our adulthood. And we have things that happen. Life happens to everybody. But you don't hold a mistake as a person and say, you know what, that was the totality of who they were. No. You look at the person and see who they were. You applaud them. And you are so excited that they came across your path. Like I said, I am so excited that God allowed Joe P. Cook to be my dad. I am excited about it. I am grateful for it. I'm grateful for the life that we were able to live because of him, just because of him being the kind of guy he was when he was laughing with us and playing with us. A lot of people don't get a chance to play with their dad. Their dad is not playing games with them. Their dad is not out there playing hopscotch and jump rope and helping you ride a bike and helping you with learning how to play football in the house and stuff. Some people have never experienced that, but we did. We got a chance to experience that. And then my younger sister, she got a chance to spend time with my dad that we didn't get to do. She got to be there with him and do some different things with him that me and my other sister may have not gotten to do, but that doesn't matter. All of that matters is that the memories that we have are awesome. They are great. And we are excited about this being his 70th birthday. Like I said, I would have loved to have balloons everywhere and to surprise him with a surprise party and do all those great things for him. And just love it. But since we're not able to do all of that, we can just love on him like through this show. And that's what I'm doing tonight, is just loving on him through this show, through the loss. It's been 14 years, but he is forever present on the inside of us. Yes, he is. And I love my dad. I do. And I'm just thinking, I'm like flooded with so many different memories. You know, my dad only spanked us once. Only one time. It only took the one time, guys, and that was a wrap. It was like that was a wrap. And that was because we built a fire, a really big fire. And I still remember that. Oh my goodness, that was the only time that we got a spanking from my dad. But it was still yet, I was like, to this day, everything, when I look at him, when I think about him, when I look at pictures of him, I'm like, okay. He was all right dude. He really was. He really was. And I thank God again. I thank God for him. I really do. And so, guys, when you experience loss, it's okay to walk through the grief process, but you want to come out on the other side of that. You don't want to stay in that process forever. And like I said, you just get to the point where you begin to live your life and say, you know what, they're not here no more, and I still have to live. So you keep moving and you keep going. Yes, we did, Linda. We almost set somebody's house on fire. So we deserved it. We deserved to get a spanking from my dad. Yeah. And I was the one that would say, see, my mom would ask who was going first. And I would be like, Linda. But my dad didn't ask who was going first. He was just like, okay, y'all getting it today because you shouldn't have never built that fire out there. But we had us a huge fire going on. So we learned never to do that again. But it is so awesome. Oh my goodness, so many memories that flood my mind and so many things that my dad did. And I'm just so excited about it. And the cars that he liked to drive, and my dad loved to drive fast too, really fast. So and I think one of my sisters picked that up. But he loved fast cars, you know. So he was a good person. He was a good person. Overall, he was a good person. Did he have his issues? Yep, just like we do. Did he have his problems? Yep, just like we do. But he was a pretty chill, pretty cool dude. Yep, he was. And as we walk through this, as we walk through everything that we're dealing with, even on the day today, it's just a celebration. It's saying, hey, Dad, we love you. We appreciate you. We honor you. We give thanks for you. Even in the midst of everything, we give thanks. And that loss is something that we had to deal with, but we are going forward and we are moving forward. And Josie was saying, hey, y'all used to say that I was bad. And she's comparing herself. No, we're not going to do that, Josie. Oh, man. We were together. Me and my one of my sisters, we were closer in age, so we were right there together. Josie came along later on, and she had things all to herself where she was doing some things. We did our stuff together. Josie was like a Josie all by herself. But anyway, it's just nice to reminisce, and it's nice to think about. And if you have your parents with you right now, you want to applaud them. You want to appreciate them. You want to let them know how much they mean to you. I did with my dad, and I am so glad that I did. That's right, Daryl. The youngest child is always bad. Oh my goodness. But yes, if you have your parents with you today, make sure that you love on them. Make sure that you appreciate them, that you do everything that you possibly can for your parent, that you sit down with them. If you're having some type of conflict, get over the conflict, guys. It's not worth it. It's not worth being angry. It's not worth walking around not talking to people. It's not even worth it. Because I would hate to have it to this day where I didn't speak to my dad or something, but I did. I spoke to him. And like I said in the beginning, I have no regrets at all. I really don't. I don't have any regrets because I was able to talk to my dad. I was able to sit down with him. I was able to have a conversation with him. And as an adult to another adult, but he was still my dad, but I was able to sit and talk with him. And when he passed, I didn't have any regrets. I wasn't sitting and saying, "Oh, I wish I would have, and I wish I would have did this, and I wish I would have did that." Did I want more time with him? Yes, I would have loved more time with him. But the time that we had is the time that we had, and I'm appreciative of it, and I wouldn't give it back for anything. I had that time with him, and I am so glad that I did. So if you have your parents with you, spend time with them, reconcile with them. Don't let the day go by or the weekend go by and you're not talking to them because of some petty little thing that doesn't even matter. Because I'm telling you, later on, you'll look back on that thing and say, why in the world did I not speak to my mom? Or why in the world did I didn't even talk to my dad? That was so stupid. And it is. I mean, we're all human beings. So go talk to them, spend some time with them, get to know them as a person, not just your mom and dad, but get to know them as a person. Because sometimes we put our parents on these pedestals and we think they can do no wrong at all. And when they show you that they are a human being and they do make mistakes, we get upset because of what we set up as them being our parent. Let them be who they are. Get to know the person and enjoy the person. If you are an adult and you get to enjoy your parent as an adult, do that. That's an awesome relationship to have. To be able to sit and talk with them and spend time with them, I'm telling you, it will bless your life, but you have to allow it. It's all a matter of how you look at it. It's all a matter of your thought process and how you look at it. So this weekend, enjoy your parents. Enjoy them. If you're not talking to them, call them and talk to them. If you say, okay, you know what, I'm a call, but if they don't speak, they don't speak. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you made the effort to call. At least you made the effort. You sent a letter. You sent a package. You did something to reach out. If they don't reach back, then they don't reach back. But at least you know you have done everything that you can do to reach out to them. I am just happy tonight. I really am. Um, when I thought about doing this show, I was like, how am I going to do this? And what am I going to do? Because it's going to be on my dad's birthday. And I really want to celebrate him. And a shout out to my sister Josie, because today is her birthday also. She was born on my dad's birthday, and he was excited about that. And then the fact that my mom is like uh, maybe a month older than him, he loved it. He was like, "Oh, you older than me." He thought that was like hilarious, but he was so excited about the fact that my sister Josie was born on his birthday. And she is named like semi after him, is Josie Patricia. And so she has his same initials and everything. So he was just excited about the fact that she was born on his birthday. But today I celebrate his 70th birthday. I celebrate him and I applaud him. Yes. He he's just my dad. I want you all to continue to move forward and to go forward. I want you to know that your ending can turn into a beginning. So it may be an ending of something, but it takes you to a beginning. It may be a loss, but you can turn it around and it will be a gain. It will be a gain. Walk through that transition, come out on the other side of it. You're going to be excited and happy that you did. I am telling you. And I want you to honor your mother and honor your father. Honor them, love on them, let them experience every part of who you are, and let them know that you love them. Let them know that you care about them while they're yet breathing, while they're yet here with you. And the reason I can do this show tonight and talk about my dad and laugh and everything is because I let him know everything while he was alive. So even though he passed away and he passed away at a young age, I'm like, I'm still excited and I am still happy because I was able to reconcile with him. I was able to talk to him. I was able to spend time with him. So make sure you spend time with your parents this weekend and all next week and for the rest of the year and years to come. Make sure that you embrace every moment and that you make every moment count, guys. Every moment count. You want to make sure that you make every moment count. You don't get those moments back. You don't get that time back. When time is gone, it is gone. So make sure that you cherish every moment that you have with your friends, with your family, with your mom, your dad, your siblings. Make sure that you make every moment count and that you love them without end. That you love them without end. No matter what, let the love continue to flow. Okay, guys? And help me to celebrate my dad today. Put up some hearts, put up some applause, put up some likes, share this broadcast with somebody else, and let them know that it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to celebrate your loved ones, even though they have passed. It's okay to celebrate. Now, we're not going to go and relive stuff and sit back and like I said, you get in that mode of where you get depressed. No, we're going to applaud them. We're going to love the fact that God allowed their lives to be within our lives at that point in time. We thank God for allowing us the time that we did have with him. And as time goes on, the stories will continue to go on. Make sure you share those stories with others about that loved one that may have passed. Let them know that it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to cry sometimes, but just don't stay in that mode. Let it be tears of joy. And if you miss them sometime, it's okay for the sad tears to fall, but don't stay in the sadness. Remember the joy. Remember the joy. And tonight, I remember the joy of my dad. So, guys, have the most amazing weekend. And make sure that you know that you know that you know your parents. Just sit down, have a conversation with them, talk with them, love on them. Don't let the day go by, even don't let today go by without giving them a hug today, without talking to them on the phone tonight sometime. Or if you live nearby, go by, see them, see how they're doing. Just let them know that you just checked on them. They will be so glad that you did because I would love to pick up the phone and call my dad right now, but I can't. But what I can do is say, Happy birthday, Joe. But I wouldn't say that. I'll be happy birthday, daddy, you know. But anyway, happy 70th birthday to my dad. I love him. I appreciate him. And I thank you all for listening in tonight for this just short celebration of my dad. And just share this with somebody else. Let them know that it's okay. Let them know. Aunt V, let Daryl hug you. But anyway, have the most amazing weekend. I am Angela D. Oliphant, allowing you to see, to hear, and to know that whole and beautiful is not just your destination, guys. It is most definitely your journey. Make sure that you join me again next week at 7 p.m. Or you can sit and watch the replay on, say what now, Linda? He was. Yeah, he would. He'll tell you, watch that Joe. Who it's like, it's daddy, it's daddy, it's daddy. But join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the 4 p.m. for the replay. And you can see it again. But make sure that you share it with somebody else and just let them know the love on their parents, love on everybody this weekend. Y'all have the most amazing weekend, and I will see you all back here next Friday at 7 p.m. Good night, everybody. Bye.